What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Move Better channel. I'm your host, Dr. Joe, and this is the Professor John Penacerrata. Today, we're going to talk to you 40-year-olds that are trying to run out there. We're going to try to give you guys a hip mobility routine that can help you guys right before you guys run. Yep. Let's go ahead and get it going.
Let's go.
All right, so hip mobility. First of all, why hip mobility for a person that's in their 40s? Well,
if we think about the years of movement patterns we've created, a lot of times there's a lot of hip tightness, right? Based off of maybe lack of movement from doing a lot of sitting work. And then all of a sudden you want to go run and now you expect it to function the way it was designed to.
Used to, at least, right?
But throughout, again, the movement function of movement patterns that we created from lack of movement, it's created certain weaknesses and potentially lost some functionality and some of the movement. So,
but what about those people that have been running their whole life?
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes when you do a lot of running, you've created a pattern already that your body's used to, and you may be lacking some of the counter movement that the hip is designed to do.
Cross-training,
Cross-training,
right?
exactly.
Cross-training, not CrossFit, you guys,
no.
cross-training.
Cross-training.
So something that a lot of people get a little mixed up with is, if you're so addicted to running, and there's a lot of people that are addicted to running. I am personally, I love running myself, but what are we doing to cross-train that, right? Yeah. And today, we're not gonna be talking so much about the cross-training side of things, but we are going to talk about what are some of the things that you might lack because you're either running way too much or you are doing nothing at all and you expect that your hip is needing to move. So let's go ahead and get into some exercises that might be able to help with some of those range of motion. And we're not trying to get this so difficult for you guys. We know that there's some runners, we're going to keep it very simple for you guys. We're going to utilize some tools in this area to just try to get you guys mobile and getting ready to run. We're going to be very dynamic with these exercises. We don't want you guys to be sitting down or sitting into a long stretch like we were taught originally how to do for a nice little warm-up. So today, let's get into some hip mobility exercises.
So we just flipped over here just so you can see it. So in this case scenario, remember when we're talking about hip mobility, it's a ball and socket joint. You want to mobilize that body part through all its ranges of motion. Starting with a little hurdle here, we're going to take one of the knees and bring it up and flex the hip and then step over. Simple as that. And then do that to the other leg as well. And go back and forth on a lateral direction. Okay? Take your time and make sure you're controlling your movement. There you go. Right? And also
have something that can support you. Right. If you can't get your knee up that high. Normally, we make it actually higher for a lot of our runners or a lot of sprinters. But in this case, for you 40-year-olds that don't move enough, who knows how high you can bring your knee.
Notice we're going laterally, right? Because a lot of times you're like, well, we run forward and back. True, but this is the cross-train aspect that we're talking about to help your muscles in your hip warm up properly so you get full activation of what the hip is designed to do, okay? The other one is obviously now forward and back, okay? We did the lateral, now we're doing front and back, okay? Activating the hip flexors there, activating the hips, all the way around. Make sure you do both sides evenly, okay? You can step over, tap your heel, or press your whole foot on the floor to get all your weight all the way onto the leg.
Exactly. Okay? Notice what happens here when I do that. When I'm bringing that leg forward, notice I'm driving my knee forward here, and I'm trying to keep my heel down, right? I'm also dynamically mobilizing my ankle with this process as I push myself forward and back, okay? Notice I don't even have to have something that high to get my heart rate up. I can even feel my heart rate coming up just by doing these exercises back and forth. And I try to tell my clients or my patients to do it for about 30 seconds to about a minute or so, because we want to get that blood flow going for those hips and the legs.
That's right.
So this is going to change. Going back and forth on this one is going to change how we move our hip.
Nice.
So the higher it is, the more that my hip is going to have to rotate. I'm just trying to be careful with the amount of space that I have here. But we're trying to step forward and back is going to help that rotation of the hip as I step forward and back here, right? We want to get rotation of that hip forward and back around in what we call the transverse plane to help with just kind of waking things up, all right? Again, 30 seconds to about a minute, or if you were a person that likes to do repetitions, go with reps for about 10 to 15 repetitions. If it's your first time, try to do it a little bit more. Try to do about 10 to 15 repetitions.
Now, some of you guys might see like, well, if Dr. Joe's kind of shifting and rotating his spine while he's doing it, that's fine. That's because
totally cool.
we're not fully just segmenting things. We're really trying to get the full functionality of the body to move and warm up.
So some Frankenstein walks. Frankenstein walks, when we're working in this plane, we want to bring our leg up, straight up into the air, kick straight back. Now notice I'm just taking a step all the way back. You don't have to stay so much like Frankenstein. I want to just try to bring my leg up. Again, it's a nice, easy warm up. Some people might feel like this is considered ballistic stretching. It's not necessarily putting too much load into the muscle. So I do feel a slight stretch on my hamstring as I bring my leg up.
Yep.
But try those out, and that again, your goal here is to try to activate the tension within your hip to try to warm that up properly.
Sir.
After we do those straight kicks, now we can even add another component to it, which is just a nice little lunge back. Bringing the leg up, bringing the knee up, as again, I'm trying to activate the hip and I'm trying to stretch it. So as you can see, John here, when he brings it back, he's bringing it back far enough to where he could feel a stretch on his hip. He's not bringing it in too close where he's working more of a strength exercise. He's trying to stretch that out. If we want to get it into a full body stretch, go ahead and do that again. Add that rotational aspect to it. That's it. And then come right back up. And then back down, add that rotational aspect to it, and then come right back up again. Cool? You're going to do about 10 to 15 reps, or if you're a time person, go into about 30 seconds to about a minute or so. So we do butt kicks. Now, if you're in an enclosed area and you're just warming up inside, you can just simply stand there and just kick your butt, heel to your butt, or you can run it in place. So you could do those butt kicks. You can, again, trying to activate those hamstrings, trying to activate that posterior chain. You're trying to get all of these areas to mobilize and to wake up from the hip area. If we wanted to try to wake up our feet, our ankles, we can simply just go up and down, trying to activate that posterior chain, and then we could get a little bit of jumping in there. And the more jumps that we start to get, the more we're waking up those muscles before we just all of a sudden just pick up our run and go.
Yep.
Try those exercises out, you guys. Let us know how we did to warm you guys up. For all you 40-year-olds out there, we're in that group too, so don't worry about it. we all warm up together. We all try to stay together in this. We're trying to keep ourselves nice and healthy. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share it with all those 40-year-olds or anybody that runs and that they don't do a proper warm-up. Make sure you help them out by sharing this video with them.